Take one and pass it around. And if you need a stapler, here it comes right off my desk. So, all of these things you hear out there, you hear on the boardwalk, you hear in conversations, but you go to yourself, how do I do this? Well, if you want to know how to do something, just ask Linda. Linda just talks and walks and asks questions and muddles her way through. The knowledge that this woman has got in the last 6 weeks. Has it been 6 weeks, baby?
Yeah, I think about 6 weeks.
Okay, honey.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You don't know what you're doing. But I know you hate when I say this. But number one, you got to have a plan. And number two, it's not what you take. Always remember, it's what you say. So, Monica said to me on Friday, I'm going to find an expired, and I'm going to do a market analysis, and I'm going to drop it off on their door. What the freak? Is that me?
Newsflash. Sounded like the news.
In Gatlinburg, Tennessee? I didn't do that.
It was Siri.
I don't even have Siri. So anyway, now let's think about this. So you go to some electronic device and you pull up an expired, and because you are so focused, I got to take papers. You're gonna work on doing a market analysis. And then you're gonna take a bunch of Pepto-Bismol pills for your stomach and a bunch of Xanax for your nerves, and you're gonna go out to the property and you're gonna knock on the door. But my question, my loves, is, what are you gonna say?
What happened?
Right. How are you gonna have an opportunity to do all this paperwork that you did? Now, if they're not home, you go, thank you, oh, Jesus. How many more are coming? If they're not home, do you just leave? Morning, Glory. I'll get you a chair.
I'll sit back. I'll sit away from people.
Okay, honey, I'd stay away from us if I were you.
Oh, I'm not being rude.
Catherine, I got
I
you
just
covered.
don't want COVID. Again. Thank you. Sorry for the delay.
You're never delayed. We're all delayed. We'll get you the papers, babe. Okay. So,
I'm fine. I'll sit back
That's
here.
fine, just so you can see.
what was I saying? Do we have any extra pages? Yay! Somebody staple for Catherine. Catherine and her husband have been in the business. Catherine, is it over 21 years?
Yes.
Okay.
About that long, yeah.
Okay. And I love when Catherine or her husband comes. Her husband is Tom, who's on the board of Pinellas Realtor Organization. So I always like to pick his brain too. Okay, so you found an expired. I don't know when it expired. I don't know what's going on. So you diligently go to a computer and you print all this stuff. Because in your brain, because we're in real estate, we believe they want to relist. Yikes. That's the first objection we have to overcome. Now, I know everybody has a geographical farm, right? Of some sort, I think. Okay. I would suggest that if you have a geographical farm, you find an expired in your geographical farm. Because if you're geographically farming, they should already know who you are, right? They should have gotten something from you. Or in the case of my friend Brandon, if you haven't seen his vehicle, it is shrinky-dinked from roof to tire. So when they see that car and they see that handsome big face on there, they go, that guy's a realtor. Have you ever been driving around communities and people are looking at you? And I stop and then I pull over and then I can't find my destination because we all know how GPSs are, right? So it's easier if they know who you are, like why you're on their street, why you're in their neighborhood. Catherine, how long have you lived in Sea Towers?
10 years maybe?
Okay, so obviously next door, everybody knows Tom and Catherine. For 10 years, they've seen their cars, they've seen them bring in their garbage, they know who they are. And they also know that Catherine and Tom not only live there, but they do business there. So if my friend Catherine finds an expired today in Sea Towers, the very first thing she's gonna do, the very first thing you gotta, because you're gonna look like a moron, is you gotta immediately go back in, not by that MLS number. Remember, when a property expires or is closed, that MLS number dies. So, if it's 4525 Cove Circle, number 607, Catherine is going to go back in by that physical address. Because the first thing we want to know before we get ready to go is, did they relist? And boy, if they relisted, you are going to look like Bozo the Clown, right, Catherine? That's the very first thing. Sometimes my listings expire at Boulevard when I'm really crazy busy in there, and other realtors from other companies will call my sellers and they go, "Good morning, we noticed that your property is no longer being offered for sale in the multiple listing. Are you still wishing to sell?" And they go, "Yeah, but our realtor's Debbie Sundell. We know she'll be calling us later today to do what? To relist." Now, don't ever let that happen. Always remember, I tell you, don't do what I do, do what I say, because sometimes I'm a little crazy. So if they have not relisted, that's the first step. Then you can start your expired plan. Now, sometimes agents say to me, "I found an expired from 5 years ago. I think this would be a good one." Well, good thinking. But in that situation, the first thing you have to do is go into some form of public records. I don't care if it's Realist, I don't care if it's Pinellas County, I don't care if it's, what's the other one we have? IMAP. Yeah, I don't care. Any one of those, to see if the deed is transferred. If it expired 2 years ago, maybe they already resold it. Now, the other thing that people do, and this is why we need to go to some form of public records, they sell it themselves. Oh, those little rascals, right? We are so programmed because we are realtors. Speaking of we are realtors, the National Association of Realtors, which you paid for this commercial. I heard it somewhere on a TV show over the weekend, and it said, if you are in need of real estate help, call a realtor. Now, is everybody a realtor? No. A bunch of my friends that were licensed for 45 years, they don't want to be a realtor. They don't want to belong to Pinellas Realtor Organization. They don't want to belong to Florida Association of Realtors. And they don't want to belong to the National Association of Realtors. They had a little sign made, and they put it on the side door of their home, but they're not realtors because they don't belong to any of our organizations. The only way you can say you are a realtor is if you belong to PRO, FAR, and NAR. So a lot of these old ladies and men, if their sister wants to buy a house or their brother-in-law dies, but it doesn't go into MLS. Do you get that part?
How do they search?
They don't.
So how can they be effective?
They're not, but they don't want to pay board dues. Now, none of us like board dues except me and Catherine and Tom. I am so thrilled to pay that little bit of money. Now, I mean, I think it's $1,000 a year. I don't know for sure. But think about this. Where could we go and open a business? Yeah, I don't think there's any here, honey. Go to the other
I'm
end.
not walking that far.
Oh, no, Monica does all the time.
Yeah, Monica's younger and thinner than me.
Okay, as soon as Scott comes, he'll make the coffee. And what was I saying now?
Board dues.
Board dues. Yeah, 1,000. Where can I go tomorrow? Let's say that I say I'm not going to be in real estate anymore. Where can I go tomorrow and open up my own business for $1,000?
Debbie, I think they let newer realtors or anyone who wants to make payments now on it. Did you know that?
Oh, honey, it's not just new realtors, it's all of us.
Yeah.
I did that. I think it was about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the MLS dues or the board dues, but I am paying $40.20 a month automatically. So when that bill comes due for December, I've already paid it.
Yeah.
I'm all about the payment plan. And especially with that, they don't charge any interest. It's like I got to pay my quarterly real estate taxes today. I pay quarterly because November, board dues, real estate taxes, and then that little thing called Christmas. So when you get those things, take a look at that. So to open up my own business today, I'd have to get an office space. Oh crap. I'd have to get electric. I'd have to get scanners. I'd have to get a copy machine. I would have to pay electric every month. So, really, we all made the right choice. Even though there's some days Catherine and I go, I'm so over this. People are so mean. People are so stupid. I'm frustrated. And we're all going to feel that every day. But believe in the choice you made. You made the right choice. Absolutely, positively. Okay? All right. So, expireds. Ta-da. And I know that there are some of you that are very computer literate, and there is a way in MLS that you can set up automatic expireds. They will print in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep. Or they will be laying in your printer when you wake up in the morning. You always, that's how you start your day. Mine is Keurig, Max, cup in hand, and then I start my business. Because there are agents that have all this automatically set up, right, Catherine? And if they get up at 3, if they get up at 5, they're going to already have that expired available, okay? So the first thing is, did they relist? Let's say that one of my listings expired Friday, and I emailed Linda over the weekend, and she's already what? Made that back active. So you got to bring credibility to everything you do. And if the consumer doesn't feel like you know what you're doing, they're going to think that you're a bozo. All right? Okay. Page 34. I don't want to be on 34. Hold on, kids. My pages are mixed up. Okay, we want to be now on 32, expired. Now, I don't expect you to memorize this by heart. And when you get to the person, you go, hi, I'm looking for Mr. Jones. This is Jeremy with Century 21 Champions. I noticed your home was no longer on the market. I was calling to see, do you still want to sell it? This is just a little thing to get you going. You know what I'm saying? So you know what to say. And with Catherine and I, because we've done this way too long, it just rolls off our tongue. But you got to know what to say. Now, the next question is, are you just taking your home off the market? Remember this, my friends. I say this all the time. Unfortunately, the industry we're in deals with life. And boy, every day people's lives are like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And what if they say to me, Debbie, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with dementia. We found her 2 nights ago on Starkey Road at 3 a.m. with a purse full of money. And this just recently happened to where I live. The lady didn't know where she lived. They brought her into the boulevard at 3 a.m. and they said, ma'am, where do you live? And they drove her around and she said, I think I live by the mailboxes. So now my friends had to do what with their mom? Move her into their house for a while because they can't get her in a dementia unit. I don't know if anybody of you had to deal with this recently, but you can't get in a dementia unit right now. There's no room at the inn. So please remember. And they say to me, Debbie, we got mom. She's on a waiting list at 7 facilities, but we don't know when we're going to get her in. So right now, we have to have somebody here 24/7 so she doesn't turn the stove on and burn the house down. So right now, we just can't, have people coming and going. All right? Are you taking your home off the market or the wife says to me, well, Joe and I haven't been getting along for a long time. I said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And she got served with divorce papers this morning at 8 o'clock. When the sheriff shows up at your door at 8, it ain't never anything good. It's always a subpoena, a summons, a something, right? Okay. So you need to find out, can they move forward? All right? Then I say, were you getting a lot of phone calls? These agents are like rats coming out of the woodwork, aren't they? And you know what sellers say to me? Well, gee, Debbie, it's so nice that you called me today, but why didn't you show my house when it was listed? What's going to be our response to that one? Catherine, what do you say when they say that?
I'm busy taking care of my own clients, and frankly, I really didn't see much of your property marketed.
Right. And I just always say, the last time period, I haven't had a buyer looking at a home such as yours.
But I researched why it expired.
Right.
It's
And
usually price. But
absolutely.
If the photographs are bad, and most
Right.
of them are, I tell them, well, my buyer must have overlooked at it online because you didn't have professional photos.
Right. And we can
there's always something I can say.
Right. We can diagnose all the problems. How many of us have seen those listings that the toilet seat's up, there's underwear and towels on the bathroom floor, the kitchen has dirty dishes all over the counter and the maple syrup bottle? And I love at Sea Towers when they take the picture through the screen of that killer water view and it looks like tiling on our TV. We know the reasons that places aren't getting hits, right? Also, days on the market. Look at the days on the market and look at the showing instructions. It must be on the fall full moon of the rising sun of the 24th day of September. 24-hour notice. We are all realtors. And I know it doesn't matter if it's me, Catherine, or any of you. What houses do we love to show? Vacant lockbox. And I know some of you have said to me about showing instructions. The new agents out there, God bless them. Just God bless them. Because nobody helps them. Nobody teaches them. They check combination, electronic, call before showing, listing agent must accompany, click showtime, and 24-hour notice. And when I see that, I immediately go to showtime. And it doesn't say anything in showtime. Have any of you had that? And now I look at all my choices and I go, holy bananas. What am I supposed to do? So I text the listing agent and she said, well, it's vacant lockbox electronic. I said, well, okay, thanks. But they check everything in showing instructions because they don't know, okay? I don't use the showtime button because my properties are 99% of the time vacant lockbox electronic, no code, and I say go and show. And they call me and they go, you didn't set up the showtime button. I said, that's okay. I don't have to. Vacant lockbox electronic, go and show. Because we all know that when I put my lockbox on, I can set it up that I receive what? A notification when somebody goes in. All right? So it could be price. It could be family conditions. It could be showing instructions. It could be that it smells. It could be that there's a python in a glass aquarium in the living room when you open the door. Have any of you experienced that? Yeah, Catherine and I have. I had a buyer once, I couldn't even get her to come in the door. She was standing outside the door looking at this python that just ate a bunny rabbit, I think, and his tummy was this big. And she was holding on to me like an infant. And I said, let's go in. She goes, Debbie, I can't. I can't. And if anybody tells you snakes don't stink,
Oh, they smell terrible.
Snakes stink, okay? So there's a plethora of reasons why that home did not sell. Yes, Catherine and I agree that 99% of the time it's the price. Because what has everybody been saying for the last year? It's a 2-1 with a carport in Pinellas Park with a 21-year-old roof. And they want $350. Think about it. We've all seen those, right? Why do they want $350?
Because that's what their money. They're greedy.
They think they can, right? They think they can. Always remember, anything is only worth, I don't care if it's a house, a sweater, a car, a piece of jewelry, what a buyer is willing to pay. And we all know in this market, Debbie Levatino listed this crazy condo 6 weeks ago now. Linda went there for an open house. Debbie was so excited. She thought it was going to sell in a minute. I thought it was going to sell in a minute because I never saw the property. It's now been on the market 6 weeks. No offers. And the bottom line, it is what it is. It's in Largo. Yes, it was built by the developer. He took 2 condos and put them together. It's still in Largo. And because it's 2 condos put together, is the maintenance $6-something?
700 and something.
Yeah, 7 something a month.
It's got 7 different floor types on the first floor.
Yeah.
It's very, choppy.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I've tried to tell her for 3 weeks and she gets mad at me. Well, you know, the seller doesn't want to reduce the price. Well, it's $449. Who's going to buy a condo on Starkey Road in Largo for $449 with a maintenance fee of $7 whatever a month?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I know, and she is so frustrated, which I have to hear that frustration every day. But I said to her again on Friday, you got to have the talk. And that's why I teach you that if you have a listing, when you have a listing, once a week, and I know Catherine does this, you have to have a date that you are going to talk to that person. And I call them, I go, okay, every Friday at 10 we're talking. And I call them, I go, hi, happy Friday. And what do they always say to me? What's going on? I said, well, I'm glad you asked me that. Because nothing's going on. Nobody called me. Nobody came. Nobody showed. So what is that telling us? we need to adjust the price. If the nicotine's running down the walls and they don't have any money to paint, we need to do what? Adjust the price. If the carpet is filthy and they have no money to put in new flooring, and why would anybody put in new carpet? You know what the new owner's going to do? Rip that carpet out. So I have to express that to them. And they might not get it the first week, but they'll start to think about it the second week. And the third week, they call me. They're calling me on Tuesday. And they go, hey, Deb. I go, yeah. They go, any updates? I go, nope. No showings, no calls. Nobody came to the open house. We're desperate and dateless. And this is what I love about my business. They go, we need to adjust the price. I go, yes, we do. But you see, you have to let people find their way. That 2-1 with a carport in Pinellas Park with a 21-year-old roof is not worth $350. You get it?
We should probably really have a conversation with them before it's ever listed that, it's very important to
Right.
price it, otherwise it's just...
And we all would, because we have a brain. But Catherine will tell you there's a lot of agents out there that will list anything. Catherine, I heard at Sea Towers, that condo on the first floor in contract in Concord that was listed for $399,900 that got reduced to $349,000 when under contract.
Yeah.
Won't it be interesting to see what that closes
A
for?
lot.
Oh, it's totally a lot, and it's not even updated. It's ridiculous. Now, obviously, we hope someone is paying cash, because 607 in the Columbia that I had I listed it for $289,900. In 1 hour, somebody wanted to buy it for $290,000. I said, fair enough. And the appraisal came in at 11 o'clock in the morning on Labor Day weekend, on Labor Day, after it took the appraiser 11 days. And it appraised at $285,000 in Sea Towers. Because the appraiser, who wasn't experienced, I don't believe, said the water view wasn't that good. And also in that building, there is a special assessment for roofs. They're going to start them in October. And the sellers paid $3,300 and some dollars for the roof assessment. But you see, I believed that $290 on the 6th floor with a washer and dryer, the wall out of the kitchen, all brand new kitchen, new hot water tank, new windows, hurricane
That should have
shutters.
gone through.
What, babe?
That should have gone through.
You would have thought, wouldn't you? But Labor Day, there was no cheeseburgers for your friend. There was no frozen concoctions to help me hang on. I was so stressed, I had to call the seller who moved to Pennsylvania. Her name is Debbie, and say, Debbie, just got the appraisal back, $285,000. What do you want to do? And she said, well, I said we can put it back on the market, but it's going to be $285,500. She goes, Debbie, I don't care. Just get it closed. Now, I was ready to fight because, Catherine and I come out of the cage like banshee chickens. And I was ready to call that appraiser and read her a new riot act and say, do you remember my seller just paid $3,300 for the new roof, blah, 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 blah. And my seller was like, Deb, I know you did your best. I know you would fight for me. But you know what? At that point, the sellers are worn down. And they're like, she already signed the closing papers Friday before she moved to Pennsylvania. She goes, I'm done. Send me an addenda. We'll sell it for $285,000. The thing I want you to remember today is we get so attached to our buyers and our sellers. And it hurts my feelings when something my buyer doesn't get or something my seller doesn't get, because we know too much, right? Oh, when that email came in at 11 o'clock on Labor Day, I just looked at my phone and I went, I don't know what to do. I was sick to my stomach. I had a headache. And I'm like, Now I have to call this seller that already signed and moved to Pennsylvania.
I have a question.
Yes, babe.
About the appraisal.
Yes.
So if it was 285 and they're selling, somebody offered 290, doesn't the appraisal just have to be the amount of the loan? No.
Sales price. It says in your contract, honey, it must appraise at contractual price.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I thought it was just like what they're because it was to protect the.
Now, the buyers, if they have the money, I mean, they can pay more. But if they don't negotiate, if it doesn't come down, then they have a right to cancel the contract because it didn't appraise.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking if they had put enough money down and they're only, like maybe they're only.
Oh, I wanted my buyer
250 or
to.
whatever.
My buyer was putting 110 down. He could have paid 5 more. I asked him, I said, why don't we split it in the middle? They lose 25 hundo, you give 25 hundo. Well, I don't really want to do that. Of course not. Do we want to overpay for anything? When you go to any store and you look at your receipt and Jif peanut butter at Publix was buy one, get one free, and they charged you for 2 big Jif peanut butters this weekend, what are you going to do? You're going to march yourself right over to that customer service with that damn receipt and say, hey, you charged me for 2 Jif peanut butters and it was buy one, get one. Nobody wants to give up their money, do they? No, we all know that happened. All right. So, why is the seller angry? Because 57 realtors have called him so far this morning.
Because he thinks they're worthless.
Right, because the seller goes, well, it's been on the market for 250 days. Why didn't you call me then? Why didn't we call him then, Monica, my friend? It's like dating. If we go out to dinner Saturday night and they don't call me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm like, well, I guess they dumped me already. All right? It's the same thing. I always say it's dating. Real estate is dating. Then we say, can you imagine if you had to work with these people every day like I do? What is the hardest thing we have to do is work with other realtors. Right, Catherine? I love to work with Catherine and Tom. They love to work with me. You know why? Because we're in the same office, we get it, and we know that we're going to do the right thing. I'm not so happy dealing with somebody from Charles Rudebaker Bucker. My last 2 closings were with them. It was so hard. It was so hard because they don't know what they're doing. And I can't yell at them. I just have to say, let me help you and we'll get you through this. So then I say, if you sold this home, where would you be going to next week?
Bye-bye.
Right. Why are they selling? Where do they want to go? Right? Well, let's say that their husband got a job with Google and they're supposed to be moving to San Francisco. And now Google sent him an email and said, we're so sorry, your position is not available. So now they can't move. Another reason that properties expire is because people can't move. You think because it's expired, they still want to do what? They still want to sell. They still want to move to San Francisco, but they got no job, okay?
Wouldn't it be more likely that they'd withdraw it though? I mean, does that happen a lot? Where
Well,
they
no,
just
because
let it
honey,
expire,
most of us convince them to wait till it expires. Because we're fighting like crazy to hopefully get a what? Get a contract. Yeah. And a lot of times, Ruth won't let them withdraw. Or else they're going to have to pay what? Remember that little thing on your listing agreement, that withdrawal fee? And you all go, how much do I put in there? And I said, as much as you think you're going to feel comfortable with if they dump you. And sellers never remember on a listing that they put in a withdrawal fee until they want to what? Break up.
So would they just like not accept offers? Like if they know that they're not going to sell the house and it's expired, would they just be like,
Well, honey,
declining
a seller
any
never
offer
has
that
to
comes in?
accept an offer.
Right. So
Yeah.
is that what they do?
That's what they do.
kinda-
They just let it roll out, right, Catherine? And sometimes Catherine and I get really, excuse my French, pissed off. And we're like, you're not withdrawing. The listing is effective for 13 more days. And I just let it ride out for 13 days. Because, Catherine, do they ever want to pay the withdrawal fee?
No.
Thank you. See, there's so many pieces to this puzzle. And the most important thing I can say to you, my friends, is you have to walk tall and carry a big stick. And when Catherine and I are mad at somebody, if you looked at our faces, you'd go, look at those ladies. They're so sweet. They're so kind. They're so loving.
I don't think they think that of me.
And meanwhile, in my head, Catherine, do you remember that man you had in Pinellas Park
I mean, he was crazy.
when you and Tom went to Dubai?
Right.
And I went over to
You were
Pinellas.
very sweet. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I was, honey. I went over. I sat in his sofa. Some Polish guy from New York. Oh my God. He barked. He howled. He screamed. And I said, now whatever his name was, I said, let's sit down and talk. And oh my God, the honey was running out of my face. And Catherine and Tom were in Dubai. I wasn't emailing them. I wasn't going crazy. My job as their fill-in backup singer when they got to go to Dubai was to just keep things together, right? I didn't want to trouble them when they were on the trip of a lifetime. You have to have psychology. Now, many times with my psychology, my anger and frustration starts to pop out because I know the right thing. I know the process. But that's when I have to learn to talk softly. And that day I went over there, his relatives were there. I don't know who those people were. And they were all in the kitchen just talking crazy Polish, just nuts. And finally I said to the man, I said, why don't you and I go in the living room? And he sat in the sofa, and Catherine, I sat right next to him. I was so close to him, I could have kissed him on the lips. But I was trying to what? Keep everybody in the fold. Okay. What is your time frame to be moved? Well, we already went to North Carolina and we found a cottage on a creek. And it's contingent upon us selling this. Oh, wow. That is the best words I can hear. Right then, I stop. And I say, great. It's a good thing I showed up here today. Let's get started. Let me get this house back on the market to the universe. So why? So I can get you to your new house in North Carolina. The worst thing we do is we talk too much. When I've got an answer I want, stop. Just stop. That is the best thing you can do. Morning, Glory, how are you? Are you coming to me or are you floor timing? Oh, okay, honey. Perfect, no worries. So now I say to the sellers, why do you think that when your home was being offered all over the universe, you didn't get an offer? Because our realtor was blah, our realtor was blah, our realtor was blah. And I say, gee, I understand how you feel. There's about 5 realtors in Pinellas County that I don't like to do business with. Right, Catherine? And when they call to show one of my listings, you know that realtor at Timberwoods, you know that one? When they call to show my listings, I go, oh, gee, that's great. I'm so excited. Looking forward to working with you. Meanwhile, I'm like, "Psh." But I never can badmouth another realtor. Never. Can we, Jeremy?
No, ma'am.
Well, we can to each other. You know, when Jeremy and I are having cookies after school and we're chit-chatting, because we have to vent. But I'm never going to say to a consumer, oh, that ding-a-ling from Charles Ruttenberg, they're nuts, okay? Then I say,
Is
Well-
that the number one answer, that their realtor is?
oh, yes. We called her. She never called back. She had one open house in 6 months. She never gave us any feedback on showings. What else do they say, Catherine, that makes them mad?
She never showed it,
Yeah, she never showed it.
never heard from them. She didn't do any marketing, didn't do anything.
Right. And see, remember, who pays you? Not that damn buyer.
So,
But we kiss the buyer's butts. They don't pay us nothing. The seller is paying us. And you know what? When my seller says, Debbie, I'll pay you 6%, and then I say, if I sell it myself, I'll do it for 5%, I'm going to stop saying that. If they agreed to 6%, shut your mouth, Debbie Sundell. I'm going to pretend that I have that lime green duct tape with me. Because we work so hard for our money. The seller's paying us, and they expect to get feedback on a weekly basis. They expect to get feedback after a showing. They expect to get feedback on an open house. Jeremy in the past has done a lot of open houses for me. And he leaves at 4. And at 4:05, I'm texting him. And he's out sweating, picking up the signs. He goes, I know I was going to call you. Because my seller is sitting home at 4:01, tapping their toes, wanting to know what happened. So, if any of you are doing an open house for another agent, as soon as the open house is over, please call the listing agent and share that information with them. Jeremy already knows what's going to go down because he's done this with me for 2.5 years. But sometimes newer agents say, can I do an open? I go, sure. I go, but after you get your signs off the street, please call me. And they forget. So now I'm calling because why? By 4:15, my sellers called me 12 times. Courtesy. The seller wants to know, okay, how did you pick the last agent you had? Obviously, that didn't qualify them to sell your home. Oh, my sister-in-law's a hairdresser. And this lady comes into my sister-in-law to cut her hair. And my sister-in-law said she's really good. What do we all do to pick people? If I say to Linda this afternoon, Linda, I love the way your hair's colored. Who is your hairdresser?
Word of mouth. They say word of mouth is the best advertising.
Word of
Yes.
mouth is everything. If I say to Catherine, I love your glasses. Where did you get your glasses? We all work by referrals, right? It doesn't matter if it's barber, nails, dry cleaner. If Ruth asked me one more time for a good dry cleaner. I haven't had anything dry cleaned in 3 years. The last time I went to my mom's for Christmas and I had a winter jacket. I don't dry clean, but everybody wants to go where somebody else went, right? I went to Pasadena Eye Clinic to get my cataracts done because that's where everybody in my life is gone. Catherine, it was supposed to be done 2 weeks ago. Now it's supposed to be tomorrow. I got there, the laser broke down, yada, 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 yada. So, and I've already paid $3,400. And if they don't snip my eye tomorrow, I'm not leaving there, Jeremy, until what? I got my $3,500 back. All right, you need to know why the seller did what they did. And let's say that the realtor lives in Palm Harbor off of Curlew. And this house is at Sea Towers. she's never been in Sea Towers. She can't find her way through Sea Towers. But it was a referral from my sister-in-law who works at a hair salon in Palm Harbor. I want to pick the people that know the area. I tell you this all the time. If my friends call and they say, could you list my house in Spring Hill? You know what I'm going to say? No, but I'll find you a good realtor in Spring Hill. It's the same thing with Orlando. It's the same thing with Fort Myers. It's the same thing in Apollo Beach. You know, I went there a month ago. It was the worst day of my life. And there ain't no beach in Apollo Beach. I know what I'm good at. I know from Almerton to the Skyway, I'm good. If I get north of Almerton, I'm not so good. Are you, Catherine? I'm a little lost, okay? So, why do we pick the person that can't do the job? I paid $650 Friday for a new dishwasher from my rental at Atlas Appliances. The guy called me today at 8 o'clock. He's at the villa. And the existing dishwasher, which is 1 year old, this is my third dishwasher for these people, it doesn't have the right tubes. What? What? That makes no sense to me. So obviously, when I was frustrated Friday, I went to Atlas because it's on 54th and Seminole Boulevard and gave him my American Express for $650 for a dishwasher installed. Now I got a new dishwasher in the middle of the kitchen, no installing. Now the moron tells me I need to hire a plumber. Never heard that you had to hire a plumber to put a dishwasher in the hole where all the existing jazz is. And this afternoon, I'm going to Atlas Appliance. And I'm going to go in like Jack the Bear. Because then the serviceman called me and said, well, the next time you have something done, we'll give you a $100 credit. I said, well, when might that be? Years? That's not how you do business, right? But you see, when you pick something and you don't get the service, all right. Has anyone really told you exactly why your home didn't sell? Oh, Catherine and I will tell them, won't we, Catherine? Not a blade of grass in the front yard. An old car up on cement blocks. And then don't you love when the realtor says in Realtor Remarks, Mrs. Clean lives here? Now, my idea clean and Catherine's idea clean ain't what these realtors are putting in MLS. Because what do buyers do? They drive by. If there's no grass, and if the railings are broken off, and blah, 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 nobody's going to want to go in and see Mrs. Clean. Catherine recently listed one of her family homes. And, oh my God, it's so cute. Did it sell yet?
Now I canceled the deal.
Oh, okay. You got a contract, but you canceled.
Yeah, they wanted,
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know how for sale by owners do it because it's not easy. Because I didn't like the realtor in the beginning. They were asking for ridiculous stuff. I said, give me the cancellation. I would never do that if I represented the seller. And then last night I got an offer like 20,000 so low. I said, don't even counter. I said I'm not even countering.
Right.
I just.
Right. And what the work she put in that property. It is so cute. You can look at it on
But
MLS.
I'm missing yard. I'm missing things that I can't get done quickly.
Right.
And it was tenant occupied and they weren't watering, so unless I get green paint,
Right.
I have to crop my pictures. Seriously, they paint football fields.
Right.
They paint golf courses.
Right.
I gotta find some paint.
Want a paint job, Jer? All right. So you see,
Forte.
not your forte. Hey, this is outside. You can spray it. So there's always reasons that people aren't happy. And we know that. But remember, the day you make that listing live, it's got to be the best it can. You know what I always say? Let's go put some lipstick on that pig. Have it be the best it can. Okay. No one's going to tell them why their house didn't sell, because if you call another realtor for feedback, what do they say? This is what they say on Debbie's listing. It wasn't really the location. That's like saying you're not fat, you're fluffy. When I call somebody for feedback, I tell them, you know, the monthly maintenance fee is $700 and some. It's too much. There's stairs. There's no elevator. We can't get up and down the stairs. Now, we can't fix that. I can't go put an elevator in Debbie Levitino's listing. I wish that I had that much money, but I can't. Be honest. Please be honest. Don't be rude. Just be honest. The only reason a home does not sell in today's market is because of exposure. Did you know that? Now, you all love electronics. And you all love doing all that stuff. Catherine and Tom in the pandemic, I'm going to say something, Catherine, I think it's true. Catherine and Tom were not really YouTube savvy. Was it YouTube, babe?
YouTube, yes.
Yeah. And we really didn't have a whole lot to do back then. So Catherine, I don't think it was Tom. I think it was Catherine. She said to her husband, we got to do something. We're going to do this. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen their YouTube videos. And you recently were on TV, weren't you? Didn't you just do a TV thing? Radio. Oh my God. They look so professional. They are so poised. Their scripts are unbelievable. And this is my friend in April of 2020 was sitting over there in her office at Sea Towers, absolutely crazy. What can I do? I don't even think at Sea Towers you were allowed to go in an elevator, were you?
We could do that, but it was, you know, we were sitting home, our deals were falling through because it was in the beginning and nobody wanted anybody in. Contracts were falling through, listings were being postponed. So we took tons of classes. We have so many designations, I don't even put them all on. There's too many. But you gotta do something to keep yourself in the mind of real estate. So we called everybody we knew and didn't ask for business. Just said, how are you doing?
What I did.
We learned YouTube. So we came out of it when we were able to start showing. And we were gangbusters. And I think it's because we didn't stay idle.
Right. And Catherine will tell you this. Any class you can go to through Pro
They are very good.
or Century 21 University. Now, you're not going to get an SRS next to your name. I don't even know all the different ones, Catherine. I don't know. There's for seniors, there's something specialist. You're not getting that to put those initials on your card because the consumer doesn't know anyway. You're getting that for you so that you have one more trick in your bag of overcoming objections.
Yeah, so like if you're selling someone a second home,
Right,
you tell them, I'm a second home specialist.
right.
But we're all second home specialists. But you know, it gives you the opportunity to throw it in if you're talking to an expired and it's their seasonal home at the Boulevard Club or on the beach.
Or Sea Towers, yeah.
Sea Towers, you tell them, you know, I'm a seasonal,
Right.
whatever it's called.
I don't know,
sell-
honey.
Yeah.
But and Catherine and I will tell you, because we both live in 55 plus communities. I never thought I'd be 55 when I bought there in '83. But anyway, our clientele is getting old, aren't they, Catherine?
Yeah.
I have heard more dementia in the last 3 months than I even like to think about. You know that Mrs. Pieper in Concord that was there forever? She got dementia too.
Did
Honey, they're toting them out of Sea Towers and Boulevard like there's no tomorrow. I think there's a senior designation you can get
you?
too.
SRES.
Senior what?
Senior real estate specialist.
Is that the same as like for like don't know what the word is, handicapped, or, is that included in that?
It's, they don't focus on handicap, but you learn about
Like an aging at home? kind of
aging at
thing?
home, yeah, it just, like, if you go into a listing, when I'm sitting there talking to them, especially if they're not ready to sell right now, I know enough to say, maybe you need to get home health care, or what about some modification in your home, especially if they're not ready right now.
Mhm.
So it gives you the ability to see and know things to help you get the business. Does that make sense?
I
I'm
need
sure
a
there
modif-
must be a
Yeah, that it's
handicap
gonna
one,
be
I
like
just,
friendly to, cause I mean, we have a huge senior population, so, and I don't think most people
Jeremy,
wanna go to a home.
There's a lady out here that looks a little lost. Thanks, honey. God bless her.
there you go.
Hi, Dulcie. Is Deborah here today? Debbie Levantino?
No, honey, she's not here.
Well, she'll be in today though, so.
Honey, I don't know. What do you want me to tell her?
I just left her. She's got my little doggy, Chloe. This
Oh.
is for Debbie.
Okay, honey, we'll give it to her when she comes.
Halloween.
Thanks,
Okay.
sweetie. Okay, bye, dear.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll tell you
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Little ear, sweetie.
Candy corn? You can do it. I'm like,
Candy corn, yeah.
but that's the
Sea Towers
Pass it over.
resident.
It's like pure
Yeah.
sugar.
Is that really for people or dogs?
I wouldn't feed it to my dog, but
I hope it's for
Let me get it all
people.
to
Thank
me,
you
bring it all
gift
to me.
for her, cause she said.
Oh,
she
it's from
wants
TJ
a
Maxx.
dog or
Okay.
something.
See, there you go.
Candy.
That's what Catherine and I deal with on a daily basis. All right. Then you say, if I could show you how to upgrade your exposure to the perfect market and get your home sold, would that be of interest to you? You're offering them exposure, not a market analysis. Have I gotten anywhere yet about price? Let's meet for 15 or 20 minutes so you can see exactly what it will take to do to sell your home. And that's when you're going to go in with your electronic device. You all love those electronic devices. And you are going to razzle dazzle them with aerial views of a listing. All that good stuff. What else am I forgetting, Miss Catherine? Help my brain. Because you're the YouTube girl. The Tomcat team.
I don't do aerial on this, you mean about what you'll do for them?
Yeah, what it says here, if I can show you how to upgrade your exposure to the market.
Oh, I talk about, social media.
Thank you, darling.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube.
And I'm just going to tell you something. If Catherine can learn that.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, do all of you have those things? I know this gentleman does. Those don't cost you a penny. You gotta razzle dazzle with the social media. Catherine, how did you learn that? Because I have had Alex Jarnberg come in several times, and that ain't working.
Her name's Karen Carr, Karincarr. She is a realtor. She's on YouTube and she teaches classes.
Okay, you need to write that jazz down. Monica? Karin, Karen. It's the teacher.
Karen Carr, YouTube for agents. I took her online class.
Online classes
For what?
What?
for social media, for everything for social media. Do you have social media already?
She focuses on YouTube.
So what kind of
I
content is she
do
putting on YouTube?
Facebook and Instagram, but I don't know, the TikTok thing is really versing the real estate business.
You do what you want.
You do
to
what you want, honey. You don't have to do TikTok.
You don't have to. You
I
do
know,
whatever
I'm
you
just
want to.
asking what you guys, I don't have a TikTok, so I
I-
don't know, but
I do it because I don't know where the buyer's gonna come from, and that's what I tell my seller. The buyer could be a young man on TikTok, sees your house. The man could be using a really good realtor. We don't know, So I'm putting your house everywhere I can out in the universe, so I can see it.
Do you track all your stuff or something?
I try, yeah,
It's like,
I do.
There,
Do
there
you-
are
do you-
programs
Monica,
that
do you know what
manage like
TikTok is?
multiple.
Monica,
Hmm?
do you know what TikTok is? Like the premise of it? Where it's like a 1-minute video, and you
Do
can
I- yeah,
download
am I going
that,
to get rich on my
put it on
listings
your
on
Facebook,
YouTube?
put it on your Instagram. You can put it on
So
your.
you're actually
It's
putting
actually
your
an
listing
easy
on
way
YouTube.
to
Do
to
you put other content?
take like a
other
1-minute
content?
like hype
Like
video
that
of something like a
stuff,
listing you have, or like even if it's not your like if you're do an open house, like I've done a TikTok on open houses before, then I'll download it, put it in my Facebook story, so that like people can see that in 1 minute. They can see it on Instagram. It's only a minute long, so it's just a way to get your name out there. You're potentially you could have thousands of people that see it. So it's just a way to put your name out there. If anyone's moving to Tampa, they're gonna see it. Or St. Pete, they could see it. So just put your name out there. Anything that puts your name out there is a good thing. Unless you do something stupid, and then that's a bad thing.
Yeah, like say shit, hell, or damn. Monica, remember I told you when I went to Naples to convention, I listened to a stream from this top producer in San Diego. And when he's putting his real estate signs out for an open house, he does a TikTok. And it says, "This is how hard I work." Or he's got the balloons in his mouth. And he's trying to tie them in a sign.
Thank you, that's a good idea.
Thank you. Or he's got his giveaways.
As like a newer agent, you're gonna really want your family and friends that see it, that are your friends on Facebook and TikTok. Like you have a Facebook, right?
Yeah, but all of my family and friends like so far from here, so I
And
never
that's
gonna
okay.
get a business.
But you know
from
what?
My friends.
You
or
look
family.
at the people that are moving to Florida. They're moving from so far away from here. Like I can drive around and I can see a license plate from everywhere here. It took me forever to meet a native Floridian. Like everyone's moving from somewhere else.
I don't know.
But that is interesting
know
for
what
you
it is.
because you're saying like your family's international, right? Is that where like most of your friends and family are?
My family is in Europe, so they
Right.
probably not gonna move.
What is
Yeah.
your
They might not,
nationality?
but
It
their
would-
friends might.
No, but it
Like-
would be interesting for you to talk about it, like position it from like internationally, you're moving to another country, you know what that's like, so what can they look for, what do they need, tips and tricks, like anything, like hey, you're coming to the US, you're gonna live here, this is what you need to be aware of. You can talk about the difference in houses, like what's, customary.
May I
things.
ask
Not only
what your
that, but where
nationality
they
is?
are, we
Mhm.
probably have offices where they are. And they might say, "Oh, I could use a realtor." And you could always refer to a realtor where they live. They could be looking to buy a house in the same neighborhood they're at, and they just be like, "Oh man, I need to start looking for a realtor." And you could say, "Well, I can refer you to one and get a referral off of it." That's pretty much anywhere Century 21 operates, and that's just about everywhere, right?
Monica, where are you from? I forget.
Hungary.
Hungary. I should know that. Hungary.
So do you know there's a big Hungarian population here?
I know.
So you need to be the Hungarian realtor.
Maybe I don't want.
You know
Hey.
what? If you don't want to pay your mortgage, then don't. It's just an option.
Right.
I mean, if I'm sitting there talking to a Hungarian person, I talk about my Hungarian ancestry. If I'm talking to a New Yorker, I'm all about how long I lived in New York and how fabulous it is. I talk about my Irish. I talk about being a businesswoman, whatever it does to get that business. And if they want me to be the real estate senior specialist, that's what I am. If I'm the Hungarian specialist, you damn well better believe that's what I am. And that's why that Hungarian over there is gonna come to me, just because I've got a little bit of Hungarian in
And
me,
I wish I
told
could
them
speak
how
a foreign
fabulous
language.
they were.
Look at
I
Cyrilla.
don't
She
speak
speaks
Hungarian.
5 dialects of Philippine.
Margaret, do you know how wonderful Margaret
Oh,
was doing?
yeah, where's she from?
She's Hungarian.
She is.
She did a phenomenal Hungarian business. They knew me and Margaret for the longest time.
Right. And this TikTok, Instagram, whatever, you need to prove who you are. Does that make sense? You need to prove that on Sunday at 11 o'clock, you're on 38th Avenue and 71st, trying to get a sign in the ground, where my butt's up in the air, the balloons are in my teeth, and everybody's going by beeping. I go, we work so hard, but you need to get picked because of your hard work. I told you before, I got picked for listings next door to a house I sold because the seller said, we never saw anybody work as hard as you did. Every Sunday you were out there sweeping the sidewalk. I wasn't out there sweeping the sidewalk to make it clean. I was out there sweeping the sidewalk so I could be seen. And cars would go down the street and the neighbors would come out. And that is the honest to God's truth. When they went to sell, they called me up and they said, we never saw anybody. If there was a piece of paper in the yard, I'm out there picking it up. I'm not going to go to an open house on Sunday and sit in the house like an idiot. There's opportunity there. There's cars going up and down the street. Oh, Jeremy knows. Jeremy and I are outside at the Boulevard Club. We're at the dumpster. We're walking around. Jeremy's going to the clubhouse to go to the bathroom. We drag people in. We're talking, and then Jeremy's at the dumpster, and they go, oh, where are you today? And Jeremy goes, right up there. Jeremy goes, let's go take a look. This right here, our bodies and our brains and our persona are what gets us money. Okay, then you know my famous close, the bottom of 32. What do I always say? Would it be better for you if I stopped by? Yeah, baby. Would it be better for you if I stopped by this afternoon at 4? Or, Catherine, can you get up? Do you need help? I know those chairs are terrible, babe. Would it be better for you if I came today at 4 or 4:45? Now you know I'm going to be there at 4, right? But you have to find out from that expired listing what happened. Why didn't it sell? What are their circumstances? Okay, let's whip to 32. This is dialogue number 2 in case you don't like dialogue number 1. Hi, I'm Debbie with Real Estate Champions. I'm sure you know your home came up for today as an expired listing, and I was curious. If I wrote an all cash, great terms offer yesterday, where would you be moving to? You got to figure out where they want to go and what their motivation is to go. If they say, we just won the lottery and we're moving to Panama, and I'm going to Pygmy Sloth Island and getting my own baby pygmy. That's going to be your trainer in 2 years. I'm getting my own pygmy. Okay. What are they excited about doing? Where are they going? Is that something you'd still like to do? Hell yeah. I want to get out of here. I've discovered there's only 3 reasons a great home like yours doesn't sell. Ooh. Whoa, kiddos.
This is a harsh conversation. I'm just like,
the marketing and the exposure on your home wasn't enough to attract the buyers and the agents in the area. The home didn't show well or capture the buyer's emotions. What is buying a house? It's falling in love. No one's going to buy something they don't love. Even a flipper has got to love it. By a flipper loving it, he's loving when he goes in and he fixes it up. How much what is he going to make? Money. It's all about falling in love. You can fall in love with a restaurant. You can fall in love with a frozen drink. You can fall in love with an ice cream cone. But you gotta love it. The pricing strategy. I'm curious. There are 2 ways to price. Do you think that you priced it high for negotiations? Oh, that's a nice way to put you're an overpriced pig. I can't say, yeah, this was an overpriced turkey, loser. But I can say, did you price it high for negotiations? That sounds so much better. You're not fat, you're fluffy. Or is it the fair market price to create a potential bidding war? And they're going to say, well, we started out high, because what do sellers always say? You can always come down, but you can't go up. And I go, yeah. And we've been high for 5 weeks now. So what do you want to do? Do you still want to sell? Are you still motivated? Are you still excited? Or do you want me just to stop the marketing and let it sit there? What is the sense of doing an open house? Jeremy and Linda don't want to do an open house at Debbie Levatino's listing anymore. Because why? Ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody calling. Ain't nobody want to pay $449,000 for a condo on Starkey Road. Now, it's not on Starkey. You go back in through the subdivision. But that's going to take a very special person, right? Okay. What did your previous agent recommend? Did you price it high, or did you do a what? Fair market price. You're not doing a comparative market analysis. You are figuring out a fair market price. How many of you have done open houses recently? Monica, on those open houses you're doing, how long have those properties been on the market, babe?
It's only a 1 week, but the price is it's high.
It's high.
It's overpriced.
Yeah.
The market value is around 250 for this area, and they asking for 299.
Yeah. And you know what, honey? I'm proud of you for signing up for that job. And you're out there and you're learning. But are you going to do it again this Sunday?
No. Of course not.
Yay. And Catherine, I always say to new agents, they get older agents leftovers. Because if the property was hot and saleable at a fair market price, I would be there myself.
The only reason I chose that because it was new on the market. That's
Right.
it.
Right, honey.
Well, plus you can pick up some buyers maybe, so, you know,
It's not a
bad.
total waste of
It's
time.
not, you know, maybe.
That Levatino one, I did. Only 2 people showed up in 2 days, so I wasn't picking up anything, buyers or anything.
Were they pulling up the signs again? Because when I went with her, there was somebody in that area that like pulled up a lot of her signs,
No.
like to route people back there.
No, mine was good.
Yeah.
I always ask them what their previous agent did. What did your previous agent do that you thought was great? What did they do? I don't say bad. I say, what did they do that you thought was not so great? And they'll tell you. They got a vent. They'll say, well, we had an open house that was supposed to start at noon. There was already buyers outside knocking on my door at noon, and my realtor didn't show up till 12:20. It's amazing what upsets people. Another thing they say, I know Catherine will acknowledge, is, I never heard from my agent. I go, what? Didn't you pick a date that you would communicate? You know, once a week you're talking to me. Nope. Couldn't wait till we signed the damn papers, and then off he went, and I never heard from him for months. And a lot of realtors don't contact the seller till they know it's going to expire. Do you think that seller's going to relist with you when you didn't provide any service? No.
I did many years ago. I thought I communicated well with the seller many years ago. I'll never forget, she called Ruth to find out how the withdrawal went. The seller's perception was she didn't hear enough from me. And I talked to her, I thought, all the time.
Right, babe.
But it's their perception.
Right.
So every Monday, they get a report, an email, every Monday of everything that transpired, all of the marketing, all of the YouTube views or Instagram or, you know, realtor.com. Every Monday, they get a report. And it's really made a huge difference. I mean, if they live there, they see it, but I let them know all the technology and everything I'm doing.
Right, honey.
So if I'm not showing it, they know I'm still working behind the scenes, because I'll never forget when I was talking to Ruth, I'm like, geez, I just talked to her 2 days ago, but it's that customer's perception.
Right, honey.
So
And you know what?
every Monday they got an email.
Right. And you
whether
know
I
what?
spoke to them or not.
People just get frustrated. Sellers get frustrated. And when their house is not under contract for what they thought it should be under contract with, whose fault is it? It's ours. And this is why you have to have broad shoulders. And I always say, Catherine, when I leave the house in the morning, I pretend that I spray myself with Pam. And I open the door, and I say this every morning at the top of my stairs. Look out, world, here I come. And I navigate down 15 stairs. I get to the car, and I go, okay, half the battle is won. I am going to make this happen. And the lawn man looks at me, and the people are looking at me, and they go, yeah, she talks to herself all the time. It's okay. But you got to fire yourself up. Bottom line is, if I can market it properly and sell your home in the next 30 days, would it be worth us for sit down and explore it? And once again, would 4 o'clock be better or 4:45? Don't say, can I come over tomorrow? No, I never ask them questions that could be a yes or no.
So could this backfire though, saying something like I could sell it in 30 days? I mean, and then you don't, and
Well, honey,
you just cross that bridge when you come
anything
to it.
can backfire. What I'm trying to do is allow them to show me their mistakes. And I believe that if a house is priced properly for the condition in today's market, you should have something within 30 days. I know things have slowed down. You know, July and August, I was getting offers in 30 seconds because it was still the toilet paper rush. And I think now sellers are getting more realistic in their pricing. I think buyers have calmed down because now there's a search for toilet paper again, so they have a job to do. You know, they're out driving around for toilet paper. Linda, you know what? Everything can blow up in my face every day. Right, Catherine?
No, I think that's a good question, because when I read it, I thought it was a little, salesy. I thought it was a little too much,
Right.
but I guess it's how you handle it, and once you get there, if there's, because most, no matter how good or bad that realtor was, most of the times, it's truly the price.
Absolutely.
I use the fact that the realtor didn't do something to separate me, but it's usually I'm in there trying to get the price reduced. So then that way, when they, if you did use that 30-day to get in the door, and if they bring it up, well, at this price, I don't see how we're going to get an offer in 30 days.
And you know what?
Once you're in there, you can always,
Right. Don't say
Contact.
30 days. Say, if we could get someone that falls in love with your house in the next couple of months, would you consider? That's all. This isn't going to be in writing, babe. And, you know, that's why I like to sit and talk to people. Because when I put something in writing, be it an email or be it a text, now they're going to come back and call me out on it.
Yeah, I just like to be realistic because I don't know about you, but like when somebody says stuff, I just like, I don't trust them, you
Right.
know? And if I don't trust
Then I
somebody,
wouldn't say
I'm not
that.
going to want to
Yeah.
deal with them,
that's,
you know?
that's not something I could say.
So cross out 30 days and put in the next few months. It's only going to come out of your lips. And I don't know what's going to come out of your lips when you're there, right?
But isn't like kind of the objective, the way I see it is, I mean, most of the time when you're hoping to get a listing, you don't know what could go wrong, right? Because it hasn't been on the market for whatever reason, you know, they haven't sold it, whatever. So by it expiring, you already have an example of what went wrong. So now you can look at it and analyze it and say, it was overpriced, the pictures were terrible. So in a way, you could kind of feel confident about the 30 days because you're adjusting the plan to whatever the mistake was before.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is, we know the price is always the issue, but the seller has to learn by failure,
Yeah.
right? They gotta learn by failure. And so many times until you gain the confidence, Catherine, have you walked away from a listing because they were unrealistic?
Yes.
I know you did because you were parked next to my car one day in the pandemic, that crazy lady at Boulevard.
I did, yeah, she was cuckoo.
She was cuckoo. She had already been listed about 12 times. And she was nuts in the head. And all of a sudden one Saturday, pandemic, can't go anywhere. I'm on lockdown. And I see Catherine and Tom pull up in their convertible and they parked right next to me. So I'm like, oh my God, they must be on the property. They're gonna bang on my door and say hi.
No,
They were
It's a crazy lady.
they were parked right next to my car. So I got my nightgown off and I combed my hair and I put some lipstick on and I said, I know my friends are gonna come and say hi. Well, they were in
I
there.
didn't know you were there.
They were in there for about an hour and a half, at least 2 hours. And then I don't know how it happened, but I was teaching Zoom, and Catherine was on Zoom one day, or sales meeting Zoom, or some Zoom, and she said, yeah, Tom and I went to a listing this weekend, and we left. And that's okay. This is dating. Dating, dating, dating. You don't have to go down Mr. Toad's wild ride. So, we know it's always the price, but we can't hurt the seller's feelings by telling them they were a big, fat, rotted, overpriced turkey. And I always say, let's try it another way. Let's give it a refresh. I think it needs some sparkle plenty. I think it needs some glitter. You know, you have to understand that that seller is so pissed off. They hired somebody at 6% of $300,000. That was $18,000. They hired you, or me. And we went in with a bag of goods and said, we can sell your house for $300,000. Because in the back of our mind, we're going 6% if I double-sided, $18,000. But you gotta believe in your heart, your toes, that that house will sell for $300,000. And if you can't get them to be realistic, that you believe and they believe, why do you think I cried Labor Day? Because I believe that condo, 607 at Columbia, would sell for $290,000. It was $100 over list. What the fluff? It wasn't $30,000 over list. And I failed. I didn't fail, the appraiser screwed me. But anyway, of course, that's my story. But you know, our feelings get hurt when we believe so strongly in something. And we can't make it happen and we can't put it together. But obviously I tell to my seller, or this expired, well, it didn't sell for $300 the last time. So let's talk about what we can do. And I always have this, you know me, it's always folded in half in my purse with coffee on it. And I make notes. You know, what do you think worked? What do you think didn't work? What suggestions do you have? We're in this together. I am working for you. And I want to get you to your cool log cabin in North Carolina. I want to get you to Sloth Island in Panama. But you got to work together. It's a team. I can't sell somebody's house without them helping. Can I? Okay, let's go to the last one, 34. Hi, I'm looking for Dr. and Mrs. Jones. This is Century 21 Real Estate Champions. I know.
We don't have 34.
I'm sorry, what, baby?
We don't have 34.
Yeah,
Oh,
We have only
we don't have
35.
34?
33 to 35 is what I have.
Well,
Yeah.
what a loser. I'll be right back. You have to. Well, I wish I was 34. I wish I was 43.
Monica, you could be the next big TikTok real estate agent.
Yeah, sure.
Get those
I have
dance
to check
moves.
out the TikTok, but the TikTok is in my mind, like, you know, that's crazy stuff for young people, what, like, stuff.
You just do what works for you and what works for your client. That's all. You don't want to do it, don't do it.
I know,
There are
it's
realtors
just
out
like,
there that are making good money and they don't do social media. It's whatever you want. I know if I go against the listing with a young person, they're gonna be talking social media like you won't believe, so I've gotta know about it and I've gotta show them I have a presence. because people are razzled and dazzled by the internet and social media. So I have to make sure mine may not be better, but it has to be as good.
It's a lot of work too.
Okay, my friend, you got 34.
I had someone tell me, a broker mentioned that a young agent in the office, his sales went up like 30% because he just started like hitting it really hard on Instagram, social media, Instagram mostly, but
Need one of those? Is there an extra one? It is a lot of work. I was talking to Jeremy, like if you were to do just videos in the market we're in, if it's a good listing, by the time you edit it and put it up there, it's already gone, you know?
But that's okay. It's still out there.
I mean, you just have to like really like level set and know like, okay, I'm just showing what I offer, not that it could do
But
anything.
if a seller is going to meet with you
Yeah,
and meet with someone else,
Yeah.
they're going to Google you.
Right.
And
absolutely.
if they find your video
Yes.
That's what it's all about is
and
marketing.
Right.
it's
All about marketing,
Yeah.
yeah.
and the
Right.
place is already sold, they're not gonna know that. They're
It's
just gonna,
perception.
I get calls on a St. Pete Beach listing we had, a year ago, 6 months ago we sold it. It's just the perception, they
and the
don't
bigger
know.
your footprint
Correct.
on the internet, the
Yeah,
more
exactly.
chances
And the
they're
thing
gonna
is-
name.
find you.
Come up
Yeah.
like
You-
20
you-
page where is your name.
You could pay
already
for
registered,
Facebook
you
ads
know,
or
the
YouTube ads or
agency,
whatever.
Everything. Just put your
Or
name
you can
on
make a
that
free
Google.
video.
And
Yeah,
it's just
I
Like-
don't, I don't,
a lot of
I
page
don't
about you.
pay for ads.
Right.
I'm considering it now that my videos are getting better. I might pay for an YouTube
Well, you
ad
probably
just
won't
to
even need
see.
to.
Well, just to see if organically, if it would make a difference, but right now I don't.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why anyone would rather pay for
Do you
their
have
marketing
staples for the stapler?
when there's so
Of
many
course I
different
do.
ways to do it for free.
Is there some?
Correct.
Debbie has everything.
I mean, I have a YouTube channel that I do like a food blog, and you know, over time they just grow anyway.
What's your YouTube
You know
handle?
what's funny?
I come
That's
here
when
for the
people
food.
do TikTok, but then they put it on
And we do
Instagram.
shorts all the time, and we do
Or,
live
like,
streams from like
that
Disney
way or
World and
whatever.
Universal and stuff like that.
Come here for
So I don't
the
watch
food.
Just like
TikTok,
reviewing
I watch
Do you
TikTok
ever
things.
talk about real estate
Have you
in it?
noticed that?
No,
I
but
have to
it's
check
part
out
of
that,
so you can do a
Thank you.
branded
I
YouTube,
already started.
which I think you guys are
for
branded, right?
Business page, you know.
Like you have a yours is
Your name,
www.youtube
I'm
dot
like, perfect,
or
'cause
com
anytime anybody
slash
looks this up, they get
cat
you.
tomcat.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? And then I'm putting, you know,
So,
everything like all
I have it.
over,
It's set up. I have like
houses,
I actually have like five.
and, something.
five
I'm
YouTube
trying to do
channels.
every week at least something.
The real estate one is probably the newest one that I really haven't been doing a whole lot with.
That
Let me
don't
see.
fit in
I
there.
can get on, I come
Oh,
here.
there's
for-
a
Okay, let me
Yeah.
go get more.
What you doing?
And like I bought
Upside down.
Either way.
well,
Oh,
I ran
yeah,
out
upside
of business cards, so I got new business cards, and I put the
Never
QR
mind.
code that pulls up
She just
all
hidden him
my
a
all my
copy,
social
yeah.
medias and stuff. And you're right, when you
The
Google
last time you
somebody,
loaded a stapler on.
all it is it's going to be their social medias that are on top.
Hold on. I need it.
Yeah, see, I just started doing the codes,
Yeah,
and I send out my marketing and letters and stuff, I never did it before. Who knows if it worked, but it was so inexpensive, why not try it?
right, exactly. Any kind of free advertising.
No, we
is-
got it. I'm just special. I didn't put them in right. Monica showed me.
Okay, kids.
Morning.
It's Monday.
Have you tried collaborating with any other, like anyone else? Have you tried doing any, like when it comes to real estate?
I've done, Mike Kelly, I've done a few different people, a few different businesses that I thought, that could help, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Some interviews,
Well,
move
so
management, seeing the other things, yeah.
I've seen a few YouTube channels that are realtors that'll do it with a realtor from an entire different city.
Yeah, that I haven't done yet. That's not a bad idea. Sorry,
For
Debbie.
the kids.
No, I want you to
Get 'em 30
brainstorm.
years
No way,
later.
no way, I am not wasting
Yeah,
my business
like,
card on kids. But
There's a
more
guy
like
that I
people.
follow he's from
Adult
Vegas,
people.
and he was part of a real estate agency in
Going
LA,
out to stay.
and
Dress
the
up.
the LA
There's
realtors
some
will come
customers
down and do
probably
a YouTube video for their
and
channel,
put the
in
business card and the
Vegas with
candy
him.
and give for
And then he
everybody
does the
with
same
over
thing.
20
It's a good
funds.
idea.
It's only a 4-hour drive,
Can
so I
buy
thought
legally
maybe
yourself.
Miami or Orlando.
Well, if I be a bit nice, maybe I
Um,
can give some.
I was
tips too.
I was at
because they have a product.
Universal last night. We got an Uber back, and the Uber guy just happened to be a realtor also, and we were talking about
That's good, huh?
doing because he gets clients from over here, and he's like, you know, I don't get over to St. Pete all that often. And I
John,
said,
did
"Well,
you
I-
get that
same
business
thing."
card that I emailed you last week?
So
That
You-
he
you
sent
Because you
me.
can still see the
I think I texted it to you.
Yeah.
It's
Orlando
not hidden
here?
by the candy.
no, from Universal to our hotel.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I do.
That would be a very expensive. I used to drive Uber. That's a very no. Yeah, it was from the Universal to the hotel. Sorry,
$400,
I've done-
Actually, I think I looked it up. I think it's like 350.
Yeah, the
I used to
picture's not
drive it.
clear,
And
babe.
it's it's
Oh,
not
and it got
expensive.
chopped off down
Driver
here.
doesn't make any money.
But that's why we did the
My
smallest
my
one, so
longest
I had to
drive
fix
was
all the
from
sizing and everything.
Right,
My
honey,
next
because I can't
business
see that
cards
so
aren't
good.
gonna have my picture on
There
it.
you go,
Cathedral
good stuff.
to
What?
Next business
What's the
cards
city
aren't going
just
to have the
before
pictures on
Orlando?
it.
You're not gonna have your picture? I don't have my picture on either.
I made
Luxury
$52.
marketing, luxury home
Charged you
people
$175,
trying to
I made
tap into that
$52.
more. They don't like pictures on
like
the
that
cards.
sucks.
I don't know why.
Well, Catherine, and
Tom
nobody,
disagrees with me, but it can't hurt to try.
right, nobody ever
Plus, I'm
put
getting
their,
older.
nobody ever put their pictures on business cards
Yeah.
till the 80s. Realtors.
And they haven't updated them since the 80s.
Correct.
I looked good 10 years ago.
Me too.
I haven't updated mine in 10 years.
Yeah, this is the ones I have.
It's good.
This is
I like
good.
that card. Anyway, so
I got candy. Now, see, if you look like that, Catherine.
I did 10 years ago.
I know. And look at her skin. Catherine for years was, what do you call what you did, honey? Cosmetologist or?
Makeup artist.
Yeah, makeup artist. So, I better get a new picture taken. But I have to go to Catherine's house for about 6 hours so she can fix me up.
Glamour shot.
Oh my God, her skin and her makeup is awesome. Okay, so now, are you taking your home off the market? Are you getting a lot of phone calls? You may be asking yourself, where were these agents when my home was on the market, right? Because that's the first thing they say to me. Rah, rah, rah. You and 37 other called today, rah, rah, rah. And bah, bah, bah. You know, where were you when my house was active? Gee, I didn't have a customer looking for a home such as yours. Obviously, if I did, I would have wanted it. Showed it, right? Okay. If I brought you, if you had sold this home, where would you be moving to? If I brought you an all cash offer, closing in 30 days, where are you going? And they'll go, my God, Debbie, if you did that, I'm not sure, but I know I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
See, you just have to overcome the objections of their frustration. Have any of you been in a situation in the last year with somebody that you know was frustrated? Ooh. I get it from Ruth about twice a week. Man, when she calls at 7:15, I know I'm in trouble, and she is ripping and snipping and snorting at me. So I have to let her what? I have to let her vent. Catherine, a couple of weeks ago, one of our new agents signed a contract cash with no proof of funds. And it went on for, well, we still don't have proof of funds, but it's supposed to close October 1st. And so Ruth called me at 7 o'clock in the morning, screaming at me. I didn't even get my first coffee to my lips. And she said, I don't know what's wrong with you. Do you know what you're teaching those people down there? I said, I think so. And she said, well, don't you tell them they can't have a seller sign a contract if they don't have proof of funds? I said, well, of course, Ruth, I say that. Right? But this was one of those things, Catherine. Selling agent is a Charles Ruttenberg agent. He's had 2 transactions. His buyers are from Kentucky. They're selling their house in Kentucky to buy a villa at Bardmore. And he didn't know to ask for an addenda, sale of buyer's property, that there wasn't proof of funds. And we all got through it. But I get the wrath of everything when one of us does something wrong, because then Ruth says I'm not teaching it. So I vented that, Catherine, to my friend Christina that morning. And she said, Debbie, you say that all the time. I don't think anybody has spent a minute in this room with me that doesn't understand.
But also, on that point, if I may say to some
Yes.
of our new realtors, if you're representing the buyer and you're offering and you're doing cash on a $200,000 home, do not give proof of funds for $300 or $250. You do proof of funds for what they want.
Right.
Because one of the reasons I canceled that investor is their proof of funds was a lot more.
Sure.
And when they started nitpicking me, and it was my home, so it was emotional.
Right.
I'm like, no, you turds, you have all this money, how dare you? Had they given me a proof of funds for the contract amount, I might have had a little bit different point of view.
Right. And I've had that a lot too. What she's saying is,
and if you get it, same thing with pre-approval. You have to talk to your lender, and if it's on the weekend, you need to get a pre-approval.
a new pre-approval.
For the contract price, not what they're approved for. If they're approved for $300 and it's listed at $275 and you're negotiating $260, you don't give them a pre-approval
For $300. Right.
Because if you give that to me as my seller, I'm gonna tell my seller they can go higher.
Right.
Hold out for the contract price, they can do it.
Right.
So
And
what is
saying?
what is acceptable proof of funds? Like if it were
The contractual
like what-
price you're offering.
Yeah, how do they? I know, but like, what would they present to you?
If it's
That's
during
going
the
to be.
week, you can get a banker to, on a bank letterhead to do, stating how much money is in the account, but they will do at least for the contract price.
Yeah, I don't
The
want to
weekend
see.
is a little difficult.
Right.
At a bank.
I don't want to see your A.G. Edwards account with $12 million in there if you're trying to buy a condo at Boulevard for 75, and you want to buy it for 45.
So it doesn't have to be like notarized or
No,
anything,
hell
it's just
no.
like a letter from somebody.
It has
at
to
the
be
bank
written
saying-
by the bank
Okay.
and signed by the bank.
Now, some people will give us a bank statement and maybe
Well, they
cross
take.
things out,
yeah.
but even then you're kind of, just make sure it's, if you're working with the cash buyer, just make sure, do you have access for proof of funds if we find something on the weekend? I need only proof of what you're buying, not all that extra money you have.
What was that one we just got from that guy?
Anyway, sorry.
I have noticed
Thank
too,
you.
now in the
So
realtor
just
remarks,
change
it'll
the
say, like, when
120,
presenting,
for
I don't know
100
if it's something that's just
Yes,
happening, but
here
they're
a
saying,
letter
like,
for
to
200,
provide with your
and
offer,
Rhonda said
proof
to me
of
the same
funds,
thing.
or
Go to
your
my and
pre-approval
change
letter,
for
so
200
it seems
for
like it's catching
130
on like
because
as the norm.
if you
for standard
they
Right.
say,
Right.
oh, there is a 200, let's negotiate the price up.
Sorry.
No, you guys are
So
fine.
you
Found our
use the
house. I
guys
went to
here.
look at.
Good.
Yeah, it was yeah. So it's
Found
very
one?
easier.
7.8 now.
That's it.
Okay, we're almost done, and then you can work on your homework for Wednesday. I want the seller to tell me honestly, from the bottom of their heart, really honestly, why do you think a buyer was not procured for your property? And sometimes they blame themselves. They go, well, we only wanted showings on Saturday from 10 to 12. We don't want anybody in our house when we're at work. Or they have two 250-pound Labrador retrievers. Really, honestly and truly, when people list their house, do they want strangers coming in when they're at work? No. No. And I would say, yes, price is number 2, but probably under 1, price is number 1, but 1.99 is showing instructions. And some of my sellers have gotten frustrated. And I said, let's review the showing instructions. If I can't get people in, they're not going to buy. Think about that. Have you ever had a property that your buyer really, 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 really wanted to see, and you couldn't get in till the 7th rising of the sun of the 12th blue moon? Sellers, oftentimes, my friends, we want to blame it on their other agent, they were a loser. But sellers, most of the time, cause their own problems. And they will honestly tell me that when they spoke to their first realtor, I don't know what you do, but I always have a high, an average, and a low. And I say to my sellers, what is your motivation? You know, do you want this gone ASAP? And what does the damn seller always say? I want to take the highest price, because we all love what? And if it doesn't sell, we can always come down. Well, then I say to them, because I already know if they adjusted the price in MLS, right? Because I have places to go to get information. And I'll say, well, how did the adjusting process go with your other realtor? Oh, well, they came over here and asked me, and I told them, hell no. Now, this is the definition of beating your head against a wall. If I go out and my car doesn't start, am I going to keep trying to start it for the next 15 minutes and be a sweat ball? It ain't starting. Something's wrong. I need to call AAA. But sellers will make you people crazy by trying to come up with objections to do it their way. And don't ever come to me, please, because I will surround you with love. Well, when they bought it, they paid. I don't care. That is history. That is all gone away. What I paid for something on Saturday doesn't matter what it's worth today. I paid $650 for the basic washing or dishwasher. No buttons, no lights, no nothing, because my tenants are creakers. You have to flip a handle. I suppose if I called today and said, take this pig back because your technician is an idiot, I don't think they would come and get it, and I don't think they'd give me any money. It's the same thing with a listing. Why are you going to come to me and say, well, when they bought it, they paid? Look what we all paid for our cars. Look what Brandon paid to get his car shrink wrapped. If he goes there today and say, take it off, I want my money back, what are they going to say, Brandon?
Bought it.
You bought it. You own it. Right. And if you didn't see Brandon's SUV when you go out, please take a look. Okay. How did you pick the last realtor you had that you listed with? Well, we called on floor time, and the secretary just transferred the call, and we got this old man on the phone, and he didn't even know where Lake St. George was. People get, morning glory, people get the biggest losers on floor time. Did you know that?
Hey, I finally made the schedule. Don't say that.
I'm not talking about real estate champions.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying.
Right. And we've had this class before. When you get that floor call, you need to get all the information and say, thank you so much. I need about an hour or so to get back to you. You print. Do y'all know this word? P-R-I-N-T. Print. Catherine, do you know at the office we have free paper and free ink?
But it's black and white, so.
I know,
don't
baby.
ask my opinion of that.
I know, but you don't have to print public records in color.
No, but there's a lot of beautiful things you could do.
I know, baby.
I'm gonna hush my mouth unless you show Ruth that video.
I will. Okay, and please understand I'm working on things. Now, the thing with a colored printer is I would be delighted to let you use a colored printer. I own several in this office that are in various and assorted places. But you can't go back there and print 75 expireds in color. It will be on the honor system, right? And, oh, that's enough of that, Catherine. Don't get me on my rib.
Well, I would never expect it to be on the honor system in color.
Right. Well,
Nobody
honey.
does that in color on the honor system.
Well, I think we need to clarify what we're printing. If I'm going on a listing and I want to print, you know, my market analysis or colored photos of interiors and stuff. But sweetie, I come in here on Monday and 2 reams of copy paper is gone because somebody came in and printed every expired in Pinellas County. Do we need those in color? No. Okay. Knowing Mr. and Mrs. Seller what you know now, what will you expect from the next agent you choose? Gee, Debbie, thank you so much for explaining things to us and talking to us today. We really picked the wrong person. We really went down the rabbit hole, right? But remember, I always teach you, conversations equal contracts. Be it a listing contract or be it a selling contract. But you have to disarm people and you have to talk to them. Does that make sense, Linda? Linda's
It's
a
all
good
about
talker.
communication.
It's all about communication. And we say this every time we're together. If you don't communicate with someone and you share your knowledge and you ask them questions that they feel comfortable with you. This isn't like buying a car on Carvana in a glass tube. We gotta talk. Brandon, I'm sure when you decided to shrinky dink wrap your car, you did some talking, didn't you?
It's nice.
Thanks.
Isn't it great? How
See
many
this car.
places? What, babe?
I want to see this car. The
You have
build-up
to
is
see
like-
Oh, you have
Yeah.
to see.
You can't miss it.
You're gonna see my face everywhere.
Oh.
That's
Oh wow.
what you're
Right?
supposed to do. It's a good prevention.
Yeah, this is the first thing that I saw when I came.
Man, if I was driving down the street and I saw that face on that car, I'd be getting that phone number if I was 30. Would that work? Do I have to be in my 20s? I don't know. Okay.
I like one.
Oh, well, thank you, dear. I appreciate the comment.
That sounds
Catherine,
so
we're good.
creepy.
All right.
A little bit.
Little creepy.
Super
Yeah.
creepy.
When you had people that came in to see your house, did you hear those people say anything? Don't you love how buyers think they're whispering? And then they do this like we're in 3rd grade.
And they're hard of hearing anyway, so they're speaking
I was
this
gonna
loud.
Say that, yeah.
Yeah. And I tell my buyers when the sellers are home and we're going in there, appointment only, oh, they get the lecture in my car. We're going to go in there. These people are home. Don't say anything negative in front of them. As soon as you've seen enough, we'll come back outside and we'll talk. People do not have filters today. That's why I believe in duct tape. And if they can't filter it, they're going to get the lime green duct tape. So,
And it's even harder with the security cameras too, because you forget that.
yeah, you don't know if we're
listening.
being listened to.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Right. Oh, I said that to somebody a couple of weeks ago. There was a big jar of candy on the coffee table, and my buyers went right over, took the lid off, and started filling their pockets. I'm like, I don't think that was left for us to consume every bite. Or I have buyers that open up the refrigerators. I go, what are you doing?
Grabbing a beer.
Yeah.
Think they'll mind if I take a water? Now, I've also shown houses where many sellers leave little love notes. Please feel free to take a bottle of water. Or on the 18-foot granite island, there's a nice dish of candy.
Which is nice because it helps them feel at home.
Right, help
They
yourself.
can go in the fridge. Incredible water.
Okay, Monica, does this help you with the expired psychology?
Sure.
Look at her face. She knocked on my door. I'd buy anything she was selling.
Really?
Really?
Then I have to start to do a door knocking.
Oh, honey, you're great. Okay, did this help you guys today? Please take this with you. Put it next to your bed. Put it on your coffee table. take it to the hairdresser, take it to the nail salon. And I don't expect you to spit this out word for word, but I want to give you some responses to overcome objections. Because when you get out in front of the consumer, let's say they open the door and you go, "Hi," and then you freeze. Sales is all about confidence. I don't care what you're selling. When Catherine used to do makeup, was it Dillard's or Macy's? Yeah. And do you think that when I was going out to a party on Saturday night, big fancy thing, and I went in and I said, "Catherine, I need you to do my makeup." Do you think that when I left there, I didn't have 3 bags with 47 colors of eyeshadow and concealer and this and that? And I went home and I'm trying to take a shower like this and not get my makeup ruined. And boy, I went out to that party and everyone said, "You look great." And then I got home and I'm like, I don't want to wash this off. I want all this to what? Still be on there tomorrow. It's hard what we do. Catherine and I know. But it's been successful enough to Catherine that she doesn't have to do makeup now except on demand.
Do you know of any places that's not that expensive to get phone numbers? Every company I've contacted to get phone numbers, it's ridiculously expensive.
I don't know,
And
honey.
their accuracy rate isn't that great. Has anybody hired any?
No, but Jeremy will research it for you. Because Jeremy loves to research.
Because it's contact, it's getting in touch with them is the hard part.
Well, for sale by owners, how do you find them?
Well, their sign is
Well, they have their number.
phone number.
Right.
It's the expired, it's trying to find the phone number.
But if it expired today, they should still be there. You know, if you go drive by, you should be able to find something. And what I do,
Well, the
Catherine,
person, if it's owner occupied, if
Right.
they're not there.
and Jeremy taught me to stalk people on Facebook.
Yeah.
How do you stalk people on Facebook?
You're not supposed to stalk. It's illegal.
Jeremy, if that's the only illegal thing I do today, I'm in pretty good shape.
We
Um,
creatively research.
yeah, I research. I don't stalk.
Mm.
Okay, Catherine, is there anything you want to add to these darn expireds?
You know how to look them up in MLS to find out if they're truly expired or not relisted.
Well, yeah, you got to do active, pending, expired, withdrawn. Okay, what are you going to say, babe?
Well,
Are you gonna buy them?
everyone looks at them up differently. I look up expired and withdrawn. Not withdrawn unconditional. Can't do withdrawn conditional.
Right.
So I just pull up whatever your target, however long back you want to do it. This is how I do it. There's different ways. I do expired and withdrawn. I don't know if it's withdrawn unconditional or just withdrawn.
Well, there's 2 of
Don't
those.
do withdrawn conditional.
Right, there's 2 of those.
And I go back whatever date I want, and then it and map it however you want to pull them up. If you want a house, whatever you want. Then that pops up on, you go search, pops up in MLS. Then I
My birthday
click
is coming soon.
on
you know
it to
that.
look at it,
I just
because I
so much
always
fun.
scroll
It is.
down to
I
make
am not
sure
really-
that the
really
realtor
crazy about
doesn't
the
own
golden-
it.
He's
Right.
always
Or have
going to-
invest, and let, you know, maybe it's their mother's house, you're probably not gonna get the listing. So I look and I read the realtor comments. Then there's an icon and, what's her name, Rhonda can show you, it's the icon that I think looks like the Capitol.
Yes.
You click on that,
Guys, give her a chance to finish. Thanks.
and then you click on that.
You
and
click on the one that
see,
looks like the Capitol.
like the
Yeah.
Capitol,
Is that the
and
tax
it'll,
records?
it's not the tax record, but it's up above that on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks, Rhonda can explain it. I click on that, and that way I look to see if it's listed. So if I'm doing a neighborhood and I haven't checked in a while,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm doing let's say if I'm doing C Towers and I haven't checked in a while, I wanna make sure they're not active again. So anyway, then when I push that button, if it has been relisted, it shows.
On
Or
that
not.
old MLS number.
Correct. No, it doesn't, when you click that icon that looks like a capital, it'll let you know if that property is relisted.
Going by the address, not the,
Correct.
okay.
Cause it could have been pending and the person in the office didn't know to withdraw it before it went pending.